All right, so it's officially 3:30. So welcome to Animal Crossing Island Design for Beginners. Woo! All right, so who am I? My name is Vega. Online, I do this channel called Vega's Art Room, but I also do just weird content on Vega the Otagal. And I did do an Animal Crossing video, but I'm working on a new one because my specialty is theme park islands. So you're gonna learn a little bit about those. Also, my history with Animal Crossing was like a lot of people, we got into it in 2020. Remember the meme where it was Doom Guy and Isabel? My husband was with the Doom and I got the Animal Crossing, and then we locked down and then we got addicted and played them both till they died. Well, they're not dead. They're still alive, sort of. But yes, that is my history of Animal Crossing is very kind of shallow because I only played New Horizons, but I learned in depth everything about what came before and stuff like that, and wanted to get Happy Home Designer, but then we got Happy Home Paradise, so I guess I don't need to get that anymore. and New Leaf, exactly. So you got the game. The new update came out. You just got unlocked terraforming. What the heck do I do? So if you're overwhelmed because you see all on social media all these people with their fly islands, like look at my Jungle Core, Super Kid Core, Mega Core island. Look at my shiny all gold Gucci island, and you're just like, I can dig a tree. I got a peach tree. Look at it. But one, don't get overwhelmed at all. Remember, it's just a game. It won't explode. Unless you put it with some TNT, then it will explode. Please do not do that except in the explosion zone in the lobby. And really, the only thing this game is going to do is steal your soul and bells. Believe me, if they had more paid DLC other than just the one, I'd probably be like, money, 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 money. So now you just have a fresh island, fresh everything. Where do I go for here? Well, there's two ways that most people go. You either theme it or wing it. Now, what do I mean by that? Theming it is when you think of some sort of theme. Like say you're a big fan of My Hero Academia and you want to make a whole island based on that, which people have done. I saw some really good ones. Or you're just more casual. You don't want to play to be some sort of big shot. You just want to play the game, maybe build casually, and just go with the flow. And both ways of playing is just good, valid. Do what you do. Like in the picture you see, I have like one area of the island just is like whatever, and then one area island which is like one of my theme park rides in the Jungle Core section. So, you know, it kind of has this natural flow, but also I have a theme in mind. But there are some pros and cons. For the pros with having a theme for your island is knowing what you need to get. Like say you have a Kid Core theme. Now, who doesn't know what Kid Core is? All right, Kid Core is basically those themes where the aesthetic is all like childish stuff, like blocks and colors, rainbow things, teddy bears. So you know that you need items of that type, right? And the other pro is having a core fan base for inspiration, such as the cores I mentioned, and I will go into that, don't worry. But some of the cons might be, you might feel locked in, like you just finished your, I guess 19th century style island, but you also like city stuff, like 1950s city islands. And you're like, now I kind of feel locked into this because I put so much time and effort to making this type of island. So that would be the con of it. The other con is, well, I could erase to just do a whole nother one, but that involves either restarting or flattening. Like I just flattened my island. That took me like hours and stuff like that. So there are some pros and cons. Now, for the pro for fan base for inspiration, but is kind of coming into a con like where you get limited, or the con is, do I have to erase everything just to go? But really, you don't really need to restart or just flatten. You could just work section at a time if you want to just build up whatever theme or whatever you imagine in your head. And you don't need to follow the whole core thing. Now, what is the cores? So it refers to mostly aesthetics, such as, who heard of cottagecore, where it's all like, doilies and beige, flowers, like that one stool with a flower on it, farms, that sort of stuff. Or fairycore, which is kind of like my outfit, pastel and very cute. Citycore, which is basically making your whole island look like a city. Now, you could go for these type of aesthetics. The whole core suffix actually comes from being hardcore back in the 90s, but then people were like softcore, and then that turned into whatever aesthetic you wanted to put into it. You want to be chaircore? You can be chaircore. Have a whole island of nothing but chairs. But remember, you can have the same island and have different types of aesthetics on each part of the island. Like in the example I got, there's a kitcore island I saw on Google, as well as a desert island. Now imagine if you're like on the same island, you're just walking, you're in the like, oh cool, the Stitches lives here, it's a kids section, there's a playground. Oh shit, now I'm dying in a desert. That sounds fun. Mix the two, now you have Stitches dying in a desert. It's okay, he's a stuffed animal, they don't die, they're immortal. They're zombies. But there are some good pros and cons to just improvising it, just winging it. The pro is your design evolves. Like, when you're playing, and it's just like when you do art, and of course this is my example because I'm an artist. It's like when you do art, you just scribble something on the page, and then you keep adding to it. And then next thing you know, you have a great composition. Then you go to paint it. Then you go to take a picture of it. Then you go to post it on Instagram. Designing your Animal Crossing island is basically like art. It's like a creation, that process that keeps going and that you keep adding to and building on until you get what you really desire. And of course you find some uniqueness in it, because sometimes, what if you want to make say a roller coaster? Say you want to make a drop ride like, the ones at Six Flags when you sit in there and you go, ah! Like that, but no one's done it. Well, it's time to figure out how to do it in Animal Crossing. And of course, no pressure. I mean, you're just doing it for you. Your island is personal as much as it is like a game. It also is like kind of your little personal sandbox. That's what's great about sandbox games. You put whatever you put into it is what you make of it. But in the cons, you could get lost while creating. There's times where I was planning out my theme park island and I was like, man, it's just not as good as that one. I'm not sure where to go now. And of course, you might feel that just by winging it, you get too generic, like it's not unique enough. Now, if your stuff is more generic, don't worry about it. There's nothing wrong with whatever your style is. But, you might feel like, I could build this even better, but I just don't know how. And you know what my thing is to do? Just mix them. It's a big island. It's like really big. I mean, I'm so glad we got warp pipes. So, on the slide you see two different examples. Just mix them, do it your way. I do a little bit of the theme, and I do a little bit of chorus, and I do a little bit of improv. Wait, I forgot what's left and right. Left. I'm an idiot. Okay, so on the left you see that is my pastel, cutesy part of the theme park that's all like, oh look, it's cinema roll and look at all the shiny things. And then on the other side of the island, suddenly you're in Africa. And now thanks to the 2.0 items, I could make a little Africa, and I am so happy about that. But yeah, you wouldn't think that these were on the same island unless I told you, right? Yeah. So you have the power to do that. You can make a tiny Africa. You can make super pastel, happy theme park. But there is a step you need to do, and it's what really everything you need to do if you want the tools to do it. Build your catalog. So, 2.0 items came out, and I still haven't got every single one. I still am finding new ones, and it's been weeks. Now, there are a lot of good ways to build a catalog, like Nookazon. Now, who's already familiar with Nookazon? I should say who's not familiar, because it's pretty ubiquitous at this point. Nookazon is kind of like the Amazon of items and villager trading and everything for Animal Crossing New Horizons. Of course, it doesn't use money. People mostly use Nook Mile tickets or NMT as currency on it. So say you really, really, really want Shino on your island, but you don't have the amiibo cards. You go on Nookazon, you'd be like, hey, I'll trade you like 100 NMT for Shino, which honestly is probably low for her, but yeah, you could do that. Or if there's a special item you need. Now, back in the 1.0 days, before we could just go to Cyrus to just get it customized, we had to trade for certain colorways of things. Like if you were stuck with pastel, but you want like pastel plaza things, but you really wanted the black, like the ones that's more Alice in Wonderland, you would have to go to Nookazon and trade. And luckily, now that we have Cyrus, Nookazon's becoming less needed for that, but it's still really good for villagers and as well as say, materials, even though now we got Cap'n. 2.0 really is trying to make Nookazon obsolete, but we still need the villager trading. Now, Twitch Treasure Islands. Now, Treasure Islands is something I just got into. On Twitch, there's people who just hook up their Switch, let it stream all day, let the gate open, and just let people come, and then they just take all the stuff and go. Some of them are kind of on the hacked side where, it has, it just replenishes every time someone leaves, and then there's more stuff. Some of them are just people having fun, running it on their own. And those are really good because you could say if you want to get all the items really, really fast without having to go every day, time travel, restart, go to Nooks, go to use your Poke on the archipelago, and go to Harv's Island, stuff like that. And of course, trading with friends. Now, me and my friends made like a little Facebook group during the pandemic of just trading items with each other. And that's in the early days, that's how I got started. And since they started before me, they gave me a bunch of stuff. So when I first started, like a shovel. I didn't have a shovel. Where'd you get a shovel? And so they just really just here, have all these items so you could start well. And of course, time travel, all right, who is pro time travel? I'm curious. Who is anti-time travel? All right, so we got a little bit of contention here. Time travel, if you don't know, you just go into your system settings, you just make the day forward, or even by a few hours, and boom, you're in another day. And you use that to basically say, go to Nooks and keep buying the items, get the, say, the special visitor you want, or just keep going on the same day to get certain things. But remember, time travel will mess up certain things in your game, such as getting Nook achievements, such as getting stuff from Brewster, some of the special items, or even special items from Katrina. So, time travel mostly forward, but don't go back. It messes up stuff if you go back. And of course, mystery islands and trees. I'm not, just in case someone's new, go to a tree, shake the tree. Have your net, or else you're gonna get stung by wasps and die. Go to tree, shake all the trees. Every day on your island, there's 2 trees that will give you an item. If your luck is really good from Katrina, they will be an even better item. Oh crap, I even forgot about balloons. I forgot to put balloons on here. Also, balloons, obviously, and of course DIYs on the beach, and also on mystery islands, there's at least 1 item in the trees, and those are just the regular mystery items, not the captain items. So now you built up a catalog. It's time to experiment. Don't worry, it's just a stunt, Marty. The real Marty's still there. All right, so experimenting in Animal Crossing New Horizons, it's just mostly trying new things like I was talking about before, just trying to put things together and see how they work. Remember when everyone was using simple panels to do crazy stuff, or when we got the new custom design slots, people were using the little things that you put your head in for all sorts of crazy things? That's from experimenting. Also with experimenting, it's about building and sometimes rebuilding. Maybe you get a better idea later on for your island. Maybe you got a better idea to build your garden, to build your theme park, to build your I don't know, someone toss out a thing, a place. A hickory, a bakery, to make your bakery. To make the Gaylord in Animal Crossing, I think someone's done that. There is a MAGFest island. Yes. Yes, there is a Mag Island. It's great. But yeah, and of course, doing some of the things that you might see on YouTube or see on Instagram and trying it yourself, but adding something that the person you got it from hasn't, which goes into inspiration. Now, inspiration, you can find a lot of places. I know a lot of people like to go to Pinterest. Pinterest, where you find inspiration stuff for anything and you just pin it. There's a lot of Animal Crossing stuff there. Instagram is my main place. Like, this picture here is from ACNH Disneyland, one of my favorite islands. Highly recommend that. And on Instagram, people also post lots of paths, people post codes, people post their projects, and it's just amazing. Tumblr is, well, Tumblr's kind of died, but it's kind of like now everything's just kind of small, but there's still a good community there that will share all of their codes and all sorts of things, and of course their designs. Twitter is also one of my main places, like especially when the whole like game started. And one of my favorites, island tour videos. Now, who watched those on YouTube just because they're just like, it's like Lifestyle's Little Rich and Famous, but it's freaking just Animal Crossing. It really turned the Animal Crossing design community like up by 11. As the game started to evolve, it became way more design focused this generation compared to other games. But yeah, people went really crazy with this. It's like Nintendo was like, you know what? Let's have a Minecraft, but with not a Minecraft. So speaking of inspiration, some of my favorite YouTubers do island tours, or they build stuff themselves and they show you how to do it, or they do lots of themed islands, such as Nintendo's my main favorite, because he always is doing like building stuff, island tours, and he always starts a new theme. Froggy Crossing, if you really like cute, colorful, rainbow, like frogs and all sorts of kidcore. Console Kato I got into and started binging lately, and she has a lot of great ideas. Chase Crossing, wow, they stopped uploading that much, but they were early on in the fandom. They were like one of the main people who did island tours. And Let's Play, which you can see a sample of their videos right there. Yeah, I really like some of her videos on just building stuff. And who else watches Animal Crossing videos on YouTube? Tag Back. Oh, Tag Back, I started watching back when the game started. I still watch him. Anyone else got one? New Horizons? Newt Horizons. I think I've heard of that one. Anyone else got a YouTuber they want to like be like, hey, you should watch them for some AC? Oh, you're talking about Mayor Mori. Mayor Mori is mostly like update news. Same with the guy with Bob's Gang. I forget his name. Crossing Channel, thank you. But yeah, a lot of Animal Crossing YouTube is really great to go for inspiration for what to do with your island, and also get the latest update news, or say check out what the latest trends are. Okay, so you're now at a point where you got the island, you unlocked the terraforming, you cataloged some items, you got some inspiration. Now what do I do? And you're just like, I'm still lost. How do I do this? All right, design tools and planning. Now, people have created design tools since like the early days of the game to kind of help people visualize what they want to do. If you're a more visual person like I am, sometimes it helps to have something on a piece of paper before you actually do the artwork. And as someone who has to sketch out their ideas constantly, this is like a really good thing. So I just just opened my sketchbook and drew out sections of my island of what I wanted. There's also people who use map designers online, and if you want a list to kind of catalog what you already have now, this is much easier within Nook Link, because if you don't use your Nintendo Online Nook Link, it's way better than it was when it first started. And it does have a nice function to see what you latest catalogs. But if you want kind of more of a separate list, Villager DB is really good like that. Or just use a piece of paper. But honestly, I feel like that's a bit work, and it turns my fun time into a chore. Oh, I'm getting on that. Don't go ahead. So here's a 2D map designer from U Generation on GitHub. This is the top, it's mostly a top-down one. It's pretty simple. I used this one first back in the day. And if you want to take a pic of that so you can have it for later, I'll leave it up for about a few more seconds. But yeah, the tools are really intuitive. It's pretty simple. You can put your trees there. And having a top-down view will help you kind of visualize it like that. Now, is it okay if I go to the next slide? Everyone took a pic? All right. But what if you want to do 3D? Now 3D Map Designer is a bit newer. I just fiddled around with it while studying for this panel, and I actually really like it. It's pretty smooth. It doesn't it doesn't seem like it takes that much. It doesn't lag or anything. And again, it's a really good tool when you want to know how to really terraform, because on a 2D designer, you see it top down. You can see the layers you make, but this one, you can actually see how you're going to terraform and what it kind of can look like. It has some of the same limitations as terraforming in the main game, and you can even place buildings where you want them. And so this is probably my favorite map designer out there, and I'll leave it up for a few seconds so you can take a pic, get that it's at bobacake.itch.io/island planner. So highly recommend that if you need, say, something to just kind of plan out your island. Now, don't forget, we talked about a lot of things that are in-game that are all item-focused or land-focused, but if you haven't done this yet, or you guys kind of forgot about it, online pattern designers. Okay, when was the last time you made a custom pattern? Don't even remember. So I think for me it was months ago, honestly. But yeah, sometimes just if you're kind of bored with the game, try making a pattern. Or you could just go online and make a pattern if, say, you're away from your Switch. There's AC Patterns, which is the first one I used and the first one that got kind of popular earlier on. AC is Love is a newer one, and I kind of prefer theirs as more. And also, all those great designs from New Leaf and stuff, if you use the Nook app, you can use your phone, get the QR code from those older designs and put them in New Horizon. And that reminds me, fun fact, remember those horn hats from the very first game? You can get those in New Horizon by using a QR code and a custom design, and then you put it on and suddenly you got horn hat. Just like the vintage horn hat. Also, you can make your own QR codes with GameWith. Now, it's kind of buggy, and for some of it didn't, some of the things I want to do, it didn't work well, so your mileage may vary with that one. But hey, that's how people will get whole anime girls and 6 square anime girls on their island floor and stuff like that. And any that anyone knows that I haven't mentioned. Yeah, kind of getting ahead of me here. I know, it's true. I didn't expect someone to say Reddit, but you could do more custom designs, and Reddit is actually a really good place where I get it. ACQR, r/ACQR is really good. Also, the other Animal Crossing Reddits, people will post designs there, but I prefer all the ones that are very design focused. That way, it doesn't get mixed up with all the other things like memes and fan art. Instagram, obviously, and this is a pattern I found that I really recommend. It's a good one. If you need to get closer to take a pic, go ahead. And just like before, where you find inspiration for designs, Twitter and Tumblr. Just put in some hashtags, say man, I want a candy path. Type in candy path. But of course, don't forget that within the game itself, you can just go to the design, the little thing in Able Sisters where you go to design or open up your Nook phone, and you could do a query search. Just search for, say, candy path and see what people uploaded to it. But yeah, then there's like a lot of other places where people will post their paths and designs, and really one of the things that will enhance your island, paths. Like this is a path I made like I think a few months ago, in like a little cutesy space path for my space area. But yeah, many people make these kind of winding paths because we know that in the end tools you don't really have a good diagonal, which a lot of people did not like. And plus, for city core islands, people wanted something that's more like a street or a sidewalk or something with a lot more detail and grit to it. So paths, and the most famous one that was made was The Path. It was literally just called The Path, based on an old, like one of the older Animal Crossing games, Path. And it got really popular, so everyone made their own variation of The Path. And this is mine, the Space Path. One of many space paths, actually, but I wanted something that's more cutesy, kawaii path. But just putting down, say, a different path can kind of just make your island just seem even better. And this is something you could do before you even start unlock terraforming, because you could just throw the design on the ground with your Nook phone. Now, of course, terraforming, which people raise their heads saying, yeah, I need some help with that. Terraforming is a bitch. Because one, it takes very long. Two, it's not like it. Sometimes you just have to keep at it till you get it right. And you want to know the number one thing to get better at terraforming. This is very important. I want you to listen. Don't give up. Boom. But yes, sometimes it just takes a while to go from just square block to make it into a freaking Grand Canyon or freaking like mountain to a freaking lake. But also with terraforming, of course, you could find tons of inspiration. All right, this is one of the most amazing things I saw last week while looking for images for this panel. That's a skull lake. That's from Skull Queen Crossing, which is very well named. So along with terraforming, unlike doing other building, you could think of many different shapes, like say heart-shaped lakes or star-shaped lakes. They're a bit harder, and sometimes it takes a while to really just plug at it because, you're doing terraforming, shoo, 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 and then you accidentally tear down a part you just built, so you build it again, and then you accidentally build in a part you didn't want to, and it's just like trying to use the freaking shovel. But yes, think about lakes, think about water, think about nature, because, well, it's an island. It also has these type of things. Even a city core place has like a sewer. Build a sewer. And here's a more simpler one, nice, serene. Don't forget your bridges, of course, bridges and inclines. Just like even a tiny lake. Like if you have a tiny space you don't know what to do with, put a tiny little lake there and make a little scene right there. And so now that you know all of this, it's time for building. All right, so to build up your island, there's so many things you can do. Like say make buildings, because we only really have museum, the crap, how did I forget, not the town square, whatever it's called. Resident services, we got Able Sisters, we got Nook's Cranny, and we got all your house and all the other villager homes. And you could do things like, say, make extra accounts on your Switch and then make those houses into other things, which I have done 5 times. I have a problem. But yes, you could make buildings out of items. Theme park rides, which is my specialty. So I will be talking a little bit about those. Theme park rides are, because when the game started, there wasn't much. All we had was teacups, and that's it. So back in the day, we had to make, well, I say back in the day like it was 3 years ago or 4 years ago. This was literally last year. Wait, no, 2 years? Fuck. But yeah, so you just had to kind of use terraform tools to make your own rides. And of course, the tiny space challenge. Right now, there's this meme going around of people making like 4x4 or 3x3 little like spaces and trying to design that as well as they can. Just doing a challenge like that can really like broaden your horizons. I had to get that in somewhere. So really think about what to do with those small spaces. I turned one into like a little popcorn thing, or a little, say, make a picnic, make a little playground. Also, what's really popular right now in Animal Crossing are views, like making spaces where you could actually make views. And one of the biggest skills is actually layering. Like, look at the picture right there that I got from, who did I get that from? Tropic Hitch on Twitter. She made like a Sahara Shop. And how she did this, like this is before, back in 1.0, used a bunch of the simple panels, some custom designs, put some like fabric and pots and then a tree, stuff that kind of like looks like Sahara would have if she had a shop. And yeah, and also like it looks like there's a building in the distance behind there. And also playing with perspective. That was a big trend when the game first started, and people still do it to this day. It just adds, for lack of a better term, depth to your island. So now I'm going to show you a little video of some examples of building things. Like earlier when I mentioned, like how could you make a freaking theme park ride or drop ride? I did that with I used like some buildings for the side. I used a custom design, like I made the little tower for the drop ride. And in the back of it, there's vines so you could go up and actually sit on it and act like you're like going to like drop. But also here's a little speed build that I'm gonna talk you through. Now, I'm just doing a little roller coaster. Like let's just make a kid's coaster. And I'm gonna use all the techniques I talked about when I came before. So, I gotta sit down because I'm watching my own video. You go in, you grab a bunch like items that you think you would want to do with this. Something that's more on a theme, or something that would go with a kid's coaster. Use custom designs like, what we talked about. This time it's like it's actually for a train, but you know what? It's a good work for a roller coaster. And to tell the truth, there's a lot of back and forth because I keep forgetting something. But yeah, it takes a little simple terraforming. This whole build, I think, took me 30 minutes. All right, so customize that. Now you got a downslope. Woot. And now I'm put some chairs there. That looks nice. Boom, those are box sofas, by the way. And then you're like, I want to make it better. No, I don't like that. Oh, wait, there's a balloon. I got to get that balloon. I'm going to keep that in the recording for some reason. Now I got to switch that. Now I got to keep going back and forth because I can't make up my freaking mind. Little Vega, what are you doing? So yeah, when you're building, say, a certain thing, one of the things to keep in mind is what is around that thing? What can enhance that thing? And one of the techniques I use is looking at actual photos. Sometimes I look at photos of interior design to work on interiors. And so I thought, why don't I look at photos of actual places and things to try and build something off of that. Here I am using the custom designs, as you should. Here I am getting more items to because I had a bright idea of, yeah, let's make this a really cool coaster. Let's add some color and all this stuff. Let's fast forward a bit. Oh, I'm still in the thing. Stop, Vega, stop. Vega, what are you building? But yeah, now we have short, simple panels, so that enhances a lot of things. So yeah, now I'm just using what's in my repertoire or what's already in the game. Remember, no shame in using what's already in the game as well. It helps saves on spots. We're just making a very colorful little, kiddie coaster. Let's fast forward a bit, see where we at. All right, so you see I added the whole, must be this tall here, and there's always a little guy who's controlling it, just like in real life. That's like a sampler item. And since we don't have mannequins, now we have mannequins, but they're kind of like weird because they're human shaped instead of being this human shaped. I still use clothing as that. So yeah, it's a lot of basically like trial and error here, just trying to do this, which is what, get out the closet, just fast forward. So yeah, sometimes it's just like a lot of trial and error trying to do this. Will this fit here? No. Will this fit here? No. Does this suck here? No, let's erase that, because I decided, no, if I'm gonna make a kids coaster, I'm gonna make those kids scared to piss their pants. We're getting an extra level. Stitches could just deal with it. But yeah, like, just thinking of this, and this was actually adapted from someone else's idea on the Animal Crossing subreddit to like build a coaster, because they were asking about it. Someone built this as a train, and I was like, wait a minute, I could do that, just add a little bit of this. So add some color, add some this, add some that. Let's fast forward to near the end. I still can't use that tree, so I'll just put it right there. Accidentally close that again. I need some room to walk. Add some lights, and look, it's a little kid coaster. And it's a small enough build that you could put it in like tight spaces. So also when it comes to experimental builds, so this is the mermaid castle. That is the first thing I made that actually went viral for a bit. Like, I was like really proud of it, and this is back at 1.0, and we had all of these like items from Pascal, and we got all of these sea items, and this was like this, like basically the mermaid section of my theme park. And another thing you could do is sometimes you don't need to terraform a lot just to make something impactful. Like, you could just build with a few items, like keep within a certain color scheme to have a certain impact. Like, notice how it's mostly, pinks and blues, and while it's ice furniture with sea furniture, it just makes it look like it's just shiny, like, I don't know, sea brick or whatever. But yeah, and thinking kind of outside the box, because that's a wardrobe, or is it a castle door? Think about it. So yeah, sometimes just trying to think outside the box with the items you have, because it doesn't have to be a mirror, it could be a portal. That doesn't have to be a, I don't know. Someone name an item. That doesn't have to be a refrigerator, it could be I guess it is a wardrobe. Crap. Look, I lost the analogy, let's move on. Lots of people make pirate ships. Yes. All right, so also back in 1.0, it was really popular to use the simple panels to do building with. And while it's getting out of popularity, because 2.0 now has actual castles, actual size of buildings, you can make casas, you can make all sorts of things. It's amazing. But yes, this is like what people did in the earlier days. But there's tons of extra ideas. Gardens. You have a small space or you just don't know what to do. Try building a garden. Try building a nice, relaxing space, because, oh Lord, we need it in this world. Or think of a theming around a game or a show you like. Someone just did a whole island tour on the Among Us island, which was amazing. Or a whole island is a favorite color. I've seen all pink islands. I've seen all green islands. I've seen all blue islands. And they're really amazing, and holy crap, that takes some dedication to just one color to do. And of course, thousands of toilets, because why not? Anyone that got that weird toilet guy in Happy Home Paradise? Yep. Why? Okay, why not? So, what are some extra ideas that you guys have thought of already just in this panel? Go, raise your hand so I can point on you. Extra ideas. Yes, in the red.
So, I'm trying to do a Japanese castle, and I'm having a hard time, getting the panel, because the panel's all backed up.
It depends on what kind of style you're going to. You want a Japanese castle.
Like the tiered castle, like the castle.
You could, here's what I think. You could use, because now you could actually customize your house. Now, you could use that as a base and then build it around it using the pagodas that you get from Gulliver. Yeah, you and you could customize those to be more red as well, or blue, or black and brown, I think the color ways. You could use the Zen fencing on top of, say, a terraform just block to be kind of like a wall. And you could use some simple panels just as a design, but now that we have like fence customization, you could even customize the Zen fence. Another thing you could do is for more Japanese style castles, because Zen style was very popular for a while. Let's see. Use some of the new Japanese items that came out. Like, you get a lot of them in Happy Home Paradise, like the samurai armor, the bows, and some of the new walls you could use. So try that out. Anyone else got like extra ideas that they want to do? Yes, in the front.
I've always wanted to make a really good boardwalk, and in the back where Red's little fingers both.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's like okay, but I always feel like it could be better.
My favorite inspiration for boardwalks is ACNH Disneyland, because they remade Pixar Pier. And also, people will do really good boardwalks now that we have like a little game, like a Plaza Duck game or whatever it's called, and using a lot of those stalls. You can make I made an axe throwing stall with just some targets and some axes parked in front of it, as well as using some of the more outdoor eating items, such as like popcorn, or some panels, just simple panels to use, like say you know that game where you like hit a hammer and it goes up? Yes. So, and of course, look at pictures of real boardwalks. Sometimes looking at that, it will give you some more ideas to just go off. All right, anyone else got like ideas that they have for islands that they just haven't like really got? Okay, green. Definitely. I think building a concession stand would help. What about the ground? What's your flooring like?
Right now it's mostly wood floor, except for some like bowling alley carpet that I've got some designs that I downloaded.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good idea because, sometimes they got cheesy carpet. Yeah, like people have done drive-ins. Now we have actual cars in the game. So you could go the drive-in route, but a theater is just kind of chairs, screen. You could do a thing where you actually tier the chairs, like that, to make like a regular theater. Or you could just make a theater that's a theme, because there's some theaters that are like, hey, it's old Hollywood themed theater, or it's a kiddie theater. Yes. All right. Do we have one more? Anyone? All right, yellow. I think I got inspiration for that from, did anyone compete in the Crunchy Island 4-island mega maze? It was a very hard maze through 4 different islands, and it was hard. That was like the peak of great maze making, and I think something to help hide the kind of surprises and turns would be using like you mentioned, climbing walls as walls. You could use the castle walls. You could use the medieval side building. You could also use just like trees. Trees is a pretty good one. Yeah, that was some good inspiration. So after this, we pretty much just got some Q&A. We got like 16 more minutes. Mostly I talked too much. I didn't talk enough during this panel, I think. So anyone got any other things about Animal Crossing, like design that they wanted to talk about. Yes?
Somebody did make the game word purpose as a.
Yes, I saw that. Yes, people, oh God, when we were missing MAGFest, we were like, we'll make our own MAGFest with blackjack and hookers and Animal Crossing. Anyone else? Yes, in the front.
So, one core design issue that I struggle with is I always have a lot of trouble with rebuilding my rivers, like where to put them, and then whenever I do them, like, oh, it's just angles slightly wrong, and I don't like that, and like everything kind of gets messed up around that. So, like, do you have any advice for like good ways to use your rivers?
One good way I like to use my rivers, my favorite thing is to have like a river go, and then you also have you got a bridge on it, and then you have like a waterfall and another bridge on top of that that makes a really beautiful view. Another one is just having rivers kind of divide certain sections of your island. Like if you have certain sections that are certain themes, you could do it that way. And I try to make them look as natural as possible. Like I try not to make them just look like they're straight, like just straight anything, because then you get more of a canal. And in fact, canals, think about it. Someone made an entire dam with this, like with Animal Crossing. It was really cool. All right, any other designy thingies? The cat right there. Oh, that's Anka. Wait, no, that's not Anka. Oh yeah, it's Anka. Sup, Anka? Yeah. One of them I see is sumo. So you take all of those, like, you know, those little pitfall seeds. You take some of those as well as, and then bury some other things that aren't that, and you push, like you're both in a ring. Two men enter, one man leave. You both like try and push each other out the thing, and then whoever falls into the like little like circle of pitfall seeds loses. That's one I've seen. I've seen, of course, hide and seek is a popular one. People do that. Let me think. Scavenger hunts. Oh, one type of game I would host often would be kind of a treasure hunt, like a scavenger hunt, or it was a fun way to get rid of some items I didn't need. Just get a lot of people, set the timer, because we do have a timer item, and then whoever finds this certain item that I'm looking for, and I'll give out hints, the certain item will get, say, 1,000,000 bells, or a crown, or something expensive like that. And that was a really fun game to do. Otherwise, I don't know many mini games that, you know, I looked around. I'm sorry about that. Does anyone else have any mini game ideas for this person? Okay, I am sorry. Oh yes, that's really fun. Yeah, I guess hitting each other with nets also counts a game. I'm sure we all did that for like an hour when the game first came out. All right, question from Yellow Shirt. That's a very technical one. I think the space is just whatever you want to allot it. Like say, because a house is 4 blocks down and 3 across. Oh, or is it 4 by 4? 4 by 3, yes. So a house is 4 by 3. If you want an adequate backyard or even side yard, it would have to be either comparable to that space or maybe like a couple blocks bigger, like longer. So that way you could fit in like whatever theme is for that. Like say, Now that we could actually change the inside, oh crap, is this, spoiler for Happy Home Paradise, close your ears if you don't want to hear it. Okay, after you finish that, you can now change the insides of your characters, characters on your island. So yes, Raymond may not fit thematically, but you could just change his house to fit now. Okay, spoiler over. So yeah, so think about like the theme for each backyard you want to do too, and how much space you're going to need. Say you want everyone to have a pool, you're going to have to need a lot of space, and that's just going to be trial and error. So experiment. Just like build the first one and then like build each subsequent one based on that first prototype. Prototyping is a thing that you have to do when it's either building sculptures, making art, or in this case, Animal Crossing. Oh God, okay. Who has made a rock garden before? That was a bitch, wasn't it? It's worth it if you're willing to have the time. It's worth it if you're willing to time travel when you don't have the time. All right, here's my best method. Use mannequins to cover up everything that isn't like already covered, because you could go in, change the custom design of that mannequin, and they will all disappear. If you do it where you just put custom designs on the ground, then you're gonna have to go around and just go kick, 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 kick. And no one got time for that. But it is worth it if you want a certain, like, say if you want a fairy core rock garden sort of thing. It's worth it if you want, say, a nice Zen rock garden. I did it once, I'm never doing it again. I'm just gonna have to build around it. And I flattened my island, but I did not flatten those rocks.
Honestly, for a rock garden, I just used like the rock items and was like the other rocks. I'm like, yeah, what do you want? I can't anymore.
Yes, the game has rocks that you could make out of rocks, because that makes sense. So you could just make a rock garden and pretend you did it. But if it's worth it, it depends on like I said, it depends. This game output depends on what you put into it. If you have the time to do that and you're not opposed to time travel, definitely do it. If you are opposed to time travel, just prepared for a lot of one more thing, yeah? Oh yes, pro tip. If you want to make paths, put a transparent pixel in it. That way, when you make, say, a regular path, it will like align with it and not go over it. But yeah, we got 8 more minutes, but it looks like we have like not that many questions. So go get some water, and in 30 minutes, we have Animal Crossing Best Island Competition. Me and some judges are going to have, basically, we're going to show off some great islands. We got some competitors that already signed up. We still got room for walk-in competitors, so if you would like to, please be here at 5 o'clock in this room. And yes? You could just, like, say in the back of your island or somewhere, terraform a bit, basically plant them on that edge of the cliff, put something in front of it, don't gotta look at it. Yeah, and that's how you can hide stuff. Yeah. But yeah, someone says something? Yes, rainbow flower islands are very popular. I love those. Oh yeah. But yeah, like, unless anyone got something else, Then, yep, and at 5 o'clock, we still have room for at least 4 or 5 competitors because we already got 6 pre-registrants. If you want to enter to win, our prizes are Animal Crossing Journal, a Nook hat, $10 of a Nintendo gift card, and Sanrio amiibo. I forgot the word for amiibo. So yeah, and otherwise I'm doing Craziest Japanese Commercials at 1 a.m. So if you're not partying and you just want to look at stupid stuff, boom, go to that. Anyway, thank you. Have a great MAGFest, y'all. Remember, come back for the best island competition if you want some more inspiration.